Hi students, this is lesson 2 from course 2. It's properties of operations. I already put the title at the top of my page and I'm ready to go. Feel free to pause the video if you need to. The first thing that I want to talk about for properties of operations is that we have inverse operations. Okay, so that'll be a vocabulary term. Inverse operations. Those are operations that undo each other. Okay, so think of the operations that undo another operation, and I think you'll come up with addition and subtraction and multiplication and division. If I add something together, I can subtract to get back to my original number. Same with it, multiplication and division. Some of the properties of operations that you need to be familiar with, we'll go over right now. Commutative property. Now make sure you spell this correctly. It is C-O-M-M-U-T-A-T I-V-E, commutative or commutative property. Okay, commutative property. That's going to tell you that the order will change. Okay, and the book's going to give you some information that looks like this. A plus B equals B plus A, and remember we talked about that those would be variables and that any number can be substituted in there. So a number plus a number is equal to that second number plus that first number. Also, A times B can equal B times A. Notice that the commutative property is only valid for addition and subtraction. Addition and multiplication. Do not make that mistake on your paper or in your thinking process. Addition and multiplication. Okay, so if it's addition, an example looks like this. 3 plus 5 equals 5 plus 3. And if it's multiplication, an example might be 2 times 6 would equal 6 times 2. Okay, so we can just write a statement, an expression 3 plus 5, and then write it the other way around, and we know that that is still the same sum. The next property that I want to go over would be the associative property. Associative property. That's going to allow you to change the grouping. Okay, so the group changes. And it's going to look like this. We're going to have parentheses here. Okay, so we're going to have like A plus B in parentheses plus C can equal A plus, now the B plus C are in parentheses. And the same thing would happen if that were multiplication. You could have A times B in parentheses and then multiply that times C. And then you could also have A outside the parentheses times B times C. Okay. Notice again, this property is only valid for addition and multiplication. So let me give you a couple of examples. If they are addition, you could have the numbers 2 plus 6 in parentheses and then add 4 to that. And that would be the same thing if we moved those parentheses around and said, well, 2 can be on the outside and 6 plus 4 is on the inside this time. an example for multiplication. If we had 3 times 4 in parentheses, and then we had times 2 on the outside, we could have the 3 on the outside this time around, and have 4 times 2 inside parentheses. Okay, and if you think through these, 3 times 4 is 12, times 2 is 24. If we go on this side, 4 times 2, 8, times 3, 24. So those are equal. Now again, I'm going to flip the page because I'm out of room, but you don't have to. We have 3 more properties to go through. The next property I want to talk about is the identity property. Identity property. And this property will be for addition and for multiplication again. And what's going to happen is that you are going to get a result that is the same as what you start with. Okay? So for addition, let's see, I'll go down here for you. Addition, and then I'll put what the book would have in there. The book would have this. A plus 0 equals A. And if we wanted to use a real, an example with those variables that A filled in, we would have an example like 7 plus 0 equals 7. I had 7, I add 0 to it, I still have 7. The number 0 in this case is called the additive identity. And that means that that's the number that I can add to another number and get that original, or that other number back. Okay, so if I add 0 to anything, I'm always going to get whatever that other thing is as my result. Now if I do multiplication, perhaps you can think of what you can multiply any number by to get the original number back. Okay? The book will have the math language as A times 1 equals A, so we know we can multiply any number by 1 and get that number in return. 10 times 1 would equal 10, and the number 1 is the multiplicative identity. Okay, and that's kind of a tough word to say, multiplicative. Practice with that a little bit, and that'll make you better at saying it. That just means that if I multiply 1 times a number, I'll get that other number. One more property from this lesson, and then we're going to jump ahead. The property of 0 for multiplication. Okay, the property of 0 for multiplication. The book will show that as A times 0 equals 0. So if I multiply any number by 0, I will get 0 as the answer. So 8 times 0 equals 0.